They believed human space was empty. That was their first mistake. The alien empire had conquered many systems before. They had crushed fleets twice their size. They had broken worlds that resisted. To them, humanity was new, young, unorganized. Their spies reported no large war fleets near the outer border, no massive defense stations, no visible patrols. Human territory looked quiet, too quiet, but the Empire did not fear silence. They respected power, and they saw none, so they sent a fleet. 20 warships led by a heavy command cruiser crossed the invisible border into human space. Their engines burned bright against the dark stars, their confidence stronger than their shields. On the bridge of the command cruiser, the alien admiral stood tall. He watched the holographic map of the sector. No signals of resistance, no signs of traps, just open space. He allowed himself a small smile. Meanwhile, deep inside human territory, hidden sensors activated. Small satellites that looked like space debris began transmitting encrypted data. Ancient stations buried inside asteroids powered on. Stealth arrays that had not moved in years turned slowly toward the intruders. In a command room on Earth, officers watched silently. No alarms sounded in cities. No public message was sent. Only one classified network came alive. It was called SilentNet, a global defense system built long ago. For a day, everyone hoped would never come. The alien fleet moved deeper into the system. Their scanners reported minor dust fields and small asteroids. Nothing dangerous, but something strange began to happen. The last ship in formation reported a sensor glitch, a brief flicker on its navigation screen. Then the signal vanished. The admiral demanded status. No response. They scanned for debris. No explosion. No energy spike. The ship was simply gone. The admiral ordered a tight formation. Perhaps a technical failure. Perhaps a navigation error. They continued forward. Minutes later, another ship at the edge of formation reported distortion. Space around them seemed to ripple. Before they could react, their signal cut off. Again, no explosion. No wreckage. The fleet slowed. Confidence turned into tension. The admiral ordered full system scans. Long-range sweeps detected nothing unusual. But something was watching them. Deep within the asteroid belt, human stealth vessels adjusted position. Their hulls dark and silent. Their engines producing almost no traceable energy. They did not rush. They waited. The alien fleet attempted to turn back toward the border. Jump drives powered up, but navigation systems began failing. Coordinates scrambled. Calculations corrupted. Unknown interference blocked their escape. Panic began spreading across alien bridges. The admiral felt something he had not felt in many years. Uncertainty. He ordered defensive weapons charged, but there was still no visible enemy. Suddenly, every alien ship detected multiple target locks. Hundreds. The admiral looked at the tactical display. Red markers surrounded them from every direction, but visually space still looked empty. Then shapes began to appear. Large dark ships sliding out from behind asteroids. Others decloaking from open space. Human warships. Silent. Precise. Already in attack formation. Their hulls were scarred from old battles. Their design practical, not decorative. They had been there the entire time. Watching. Waiting. The admiral understood the truth. Human space was not empty. It was layered. Defended. Calculated. The first alien ship attempted to fire. Before the command finished a focus strike, disabled its weapons instantly. No destruction, just control. The human fleet moved closer in perfect formation. No wild movement, no chaotic battle cries, only discipline. In the command room on Earth, a human officer spoke quietly. Border confirmed. Phase 1 complete. The alien fleet floated surrounded. Engines struggling. Escape impossible. And in the cold silence of space, the admiral realized why no ship ever returned. Because once you entered human territory, you were already inside the trap. The alien fleet was frozen in space, surrounded by dark human warships. No explosions. No loud commands. Only the heavy silence of controlled power. The alien admiral stared at the tactical display. Red markers filled every direction. Above, below, behind. Human ships had formed a perfect sphere around them. He ordered weapons to fire at the nearest target. The command went out. Nothing happened. Weapon systems were locked. One of his officers reported foreign code inside their systems. Their fire controls had been remotely overridden. The admiral felt a chill. Humans had not only surrounded them, they had entered their systems. Deep inside human territory, hidden relay stations pulsed with activity. Silent Net expanded its grid, locking down every escape vector. On Earth, the command center remained calm. The gray-haired director of planetary defense watched the feed. He gave a single instruction: contain, do not destroy. Back in the trapped fleet, panic grew. One alien destroyer tried to break formation. Its engines flared to maximum. Before it moved, a focused beam from a human cruiser struck its propulsion core. Not enough to explode, just enough to disable. The ship drifted helpless. The admiral realized this was not a battle. It was a demonstration. A human flagship slowly advanced toward the center of the sphere, larger than the others, its hull marked with old battle scars. It transmitted one short message: you have crossed into protected space. Withdraw. The admiral refused. He would not return defeated. He ordered emergency jump. Every ship attempted to activate faster than light drives. Space around them twisted, then collapsed. An artificial gravity net activated, locking the local space from jump travel. They were sealed inside. Meanwhile, beyond the system, something massive moved. Far from the trapped fleet, hidden human carriers began launching stealth drones. Small, fast, and nearly invisible. These drones spread outward, forming a wider perimeter. This was not just about one fleet. This was about sending a message across the galaxy. Inside the alien flagship, the admiral opened a private channel to the human commander. He demanded to know how long humans had prepared. The answer came calm and steady. Since the first time someone looked at our borders. The admiral felt anger. He ordered full power to shields. If they could not escape, they would fight. But before he gave the final command, something unexpected happened. One of the alien cruisers simply vanished. Not destroyed. Gone. Its location replaced by empty coordinates. Shock rippled across every bridge. Long-range sensors detected a brief space fold. The ship had been pulled somewhere. Captured. The humans were not just disabling. They were removing ships from the field. One by one, more ships disappeared. No explosions. No debris. Just sudden absence. The alien fleet grew smaller. Fear replaced pride. The admiral finally understood. This was why no ship returned. Not because they were destroyed, but because they were taken, studied, contained. The human flagship moved closer again. A new message transmitted. This is your final warning. Leave while you still can. At that moment, the gravity net weakened slightly. A narrow corridor opened toward the border. The admiral realized humans were giving them a choice: fight and vanish, or retreat and survive. He looked around his damaged fleet. Half his ships were gone. No trace. No signals. He swallowed his pride, ordered retreat. One by one, the remaining alien ships moved through the open corridor. Engines weak but functional. Human ships did not pursue. They simply watched, silent and steady. As the last alien vessel crossed back toward open space, the corridor closed. The gravity net vanished. Human warships faded back into darkness. But the admiral knew the truth now. Human territory was not empty. It was layered with invisible walls, hidden fleets, and silent hunters, and somewhere beyond his sensors. The missing ships were not destroyed. They were somewhere else, and that thought frightened him more than death. The alien fleet crossed back over the border, damaged, silent, afraid. No one celebrated their survival. Half of their ships were missing, not destroyed, not drifting in pieces, simply gone. Inside the command cruiser, the admiral stood motionless. His pride shattered, his mind racing. He replayed the battle data again and again. Human ships had not acted with anger. They had not chased. They had not fired wildly. They had controlled everything. Back inside human territory, the silent net remained active. Stealth stations tracked every movement of the retreating fleet. Hidden sensors followed them even beyond the border. Humans did not relax. They observed, deep within an asteroid hidden far from normal trade routes. A massive human structure floated in darkness. It was not a warship. It was a containment facility. Inside its reinforced chambers, several alien vessels hovered in suspended energy fields. Intact, powered down, their crews alive but unable to move. Humans had captured them during the battle, using advanced space fold traps. These ships had not been destroyed. They had been relocated, studied. One of the captured alien captains slowly regained consciousness inside his ship. He looked out of the viewport, but instead of stars, he saw metal walls, thick armored barriers surrounding his vessel. His ship was floating inside something enormous. A human voice echoed through his bridge. "Remain calm. You are safe. Safe." The word confused him. Meanwhile, at the alien capital system, the returning fleet delivered its report. The Galactic Council listened in disbelief. The Admiral described invisible gravity nets, remote system overrides, ships vanishing without trace. He spoke of a human fleet that did not act like conquerors, but like guardians. One council elder demanded proof. As if an answer, a transmission interrupted the chamber. It was not from their fleet. It was from inside human territory. A live feed appeared, showing one of the missing alien ships, intact, held inside a massive structure. The council gasped. Humans had sent the message deliberately. "We could destroy, but we choose control." The transmission ended. Fear spread across the empire. If humans could take ships without destroying them, they could take entire fleets. Back inside the containment facility, human officers monitored the capture vessels. They did not torture. They did not threaten. They scanned. They analyzed. They recorded. The gray-haired director entered the observation deck. He watched the alien ships suspended in silence. An officer asked if they should dismantle the captured vessels. The director shook his head. "Not yet. Let them understand." Far away beyond the border, a new alien fleet was being prepared, larger than the first. The Empire refused to accept humiliation. They believed numbers would solve the problem. But inside human territory, deep scanners had already detected the mobilization. Hidden shipyards powered up again. Larger warships activated. Ancient dreadnoughts began charging their cores. The silent net expanded further. This time humans would not only contain, they would demonstrate scale. Inside the alien capital, one young strategist whispered a dangerous truth. What if humans wanted us to send a larger fleet? The chamber fell quiet, because if the first fleet was only a test, then the next encounter would reveal something far greater. Back in the containment chamber, the captured alien captain received another transmission. "You will be returned soon. Carry a message. Human space is protected. Do not cross again." The captain realized something terrifying. Humans had allowed their fleet to retreat on purpose. They wanted the story to spread. They wanted the galaxy to know. As the stars shifted outside the containment station, massive human ships moved silently into deeper defensive positions. Patient, prepared, and watching the growing alien fleet gathering beyond the border. Because this time, the lesson would not be quiet. And if the Empire crossed again, they would discover that the first battle had only been a warning. The alien Empire refused to accept the warning. Humans had returned their captured ships, intact, undamaged, with one message. Do not cross again. But pride is louder than fear. Inside the alien capital system, a second fleet was assembled, 3 times larger than the first. Heavy battleships, carrier groups, long-range artillery cruisers. This time they would not test. They would overwhelm. The Galactic Council convinced themselves that the first encounter had been deception. A hidden trick, a temporary advantage. Numbers would fix everything. The new fleet moved toward the human border with full power, engines burning bright. weapons fully charged. There was no laughter this time, only tension. When they reached the border, they did not hesitate. They crossed together, ready for war. For a few long minutes, nothing happened. No ships vanished. No signals distorted. The commanders began to believe the humans had retreated. Then the stars changed. Not exploded. Not darkened. Changed. Massive shapes began to rise from behind distant planets. From inside asteroid fields. From beneath the shadow of a gas giant. Entire battle formations emerged. Hundreds of human warships. Then thousands. Far more than the first time. And behind them, something even larger. A line of colossal dreadnoughts stretching across space like a wall. The alien fleet slowed. Their scanners struggled to measure the size of the formation. Human ships were layered in depth. Defense lines behind defense lines. This was not a fleet. This was a fortress. A transmission opened automatically across every alien ship. You were warned. The alien admiral of the Second Fleet ordered immediate attack. Long-range cannons fired. Energy beams lit the darkness. Human shields flared but held firm. Then the human response began. Not chaotic, not rushed, precise. Focused strikes disabled forward alien ships one by one. Gravity pulses bent enemy formations apart. Communication relays were jammed. Human fighters moved in silent waves, hitting engines and weapon systems. Not killing, disabling. The alien fleet tried to regroup, but space itself began to distort. Massive gravity anchors activated, locking entire sectors of space. Jump drives failed instantly. They were trapped. Again, but this time the scale was terrifying. Behind the human dreadnought line, something even larger powered on. A structure hidden behind the formation. Not a ship, a station. Ancient, armored, immense. Its central core glowed with deep blue light. The alien commanders felt dread. Their sensors identified it as a border defense array. Something designed centuries ago. Humans had built this long before the Empire existed. The station fired once. A wide pulse of controlled energy swept across the battlefield. Alien ships lost power. Shields collapsed. Weapons shut down. No explosions. Only silence. Within minutes, the Second Fleet floated powerless, surrounded by a force far beyond their imagination. On the bridge of the human flagship, the gray-haired director watched calmly. An officer asked if they should finish it. He replied quietly, "They must understand." A final transmission was sent. Human space is not territory. It is home. You do not invade a species that survived its own extinction events. The alien fleet could do nothing. Their massive numbers meant nothing inside a layered defense system built over generations. Far away in the alien capital, panic spread. Two fleets defeated, without massive destruction, without open war. The Empire realized something horrifying. Humans had not fought with fury. They had fought with preparation. And if this level of power guarded only the border, what protected the inner systems? As the Second Fleet was slowly escorted back toward the border, human ships maintained silent formation. No celebration, no pursuit, only control. And deep within the human command network, new defensive protocols were activated, because the lesson was not finished. And if the Empire tried a third time, the galaxy would witness what happens when humanity stops holding back. The Second Fleet returned broken in spirit. No ships destroyed, no bodies lost in open space. But something far worse had happened. Their belief in superiority was gone. Inside the alien capital system, fear spread through military command. Two massive fleets had been stopped without effort. The Empire had faced resistance before, but never control like this. Humans had predicted every move, blocked every escape, disabled every weapon, and still had not attacked their capital. That was the most terrifying part. They could, but they did not. In the Galactic Council, chamber silence ruled. No one shouted now. No one demanded revenge. A senior strategist stood and displayed deep space scans. Human fleets had expanded their border lines. Hidden formations now positioned near key alien trade routes, near outer colonies, near defense stations, not attacking, watching. A quiet realization formed. Humanity was showing them reach. If we wanted your empire gone, it would already be gone. Meanwhile, deep inside human territory, the border defense array powered down to standby. Massive dreadnoughts returned to shadow positions. Fighters docked silently. But the silent net did not sleep. New algorithms ran. New defense layers formed. Humans were not celebrating. They were calculating. Inside one of the alien ships that had been captured and later returned, a recovered captain reviewed human recordings left behind intentionally. Footage of ancient Earth wars. Cities destroyed by their own weapons. Nations rebuilding from ashes. Then images of early space expansion. First stations. First colonies. Early alien contact. A final line appeared in translation. We prepare because history taught us to. The captain understood. Humans expected threats. They built systems for them. Far from the border, a neutral alien civilization monitored everything. They had feared the Empire for centuries. Now they sent quiet diplomatic signals toward Earth. Not as challengers, as partners. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting. Back in the alien capital, the Council made a final decision. No third fleet. No secret attack. They would send a formal peace accord. Not from pride, but from survival. Before the message could be transmitted, long-range sensors detected something approaching the capital system. Not an attack formation. A single human dreadnought. Alone. It stopped far outside weapon range. Close enough to be seen. Far enough to show restraint. A transmission opened. The gray-haired human director appeared once more. His voice steady. We will not invade. We will not conquer. But understand this. Human space is defended. Cross it again and restraint will end. The transmission closed. The lone dreadnought turned slowly and left. No fleet behind it. No hidden attack. Just confidence. Inside the council chamber, many felt relief. But some felt something heavier. Respect. Because they finally understood. Humans did not dominate through fear. They dominated through preparation. Through patience. Through memory of suffering. Years of war had shaped them. Centuries of rebuilding had strengthened them. And now the galaxy knew the truth. Human territory was not empty space. It was a layered shield built by a species that survived everything. And as the peace transmission was finally sent toward Earth, no one celebrated. Because deep inside every alien leader, a quiet thought remained. Humans had shown control, but they had never shown what would happen if they truly decided to stop holding back. The peace transmission traveled across the stars. It was not written with pride. It was not filled with excuses. It was simple. We request peace. Inside human territory, the message was received in silence. No cheers. No victory speeches. Only quiet confirmation. The gray-haired director stood in the command chamber, watching the words on the screen. An officer asked if they trusted the Empire. He answered calmly, "Trust is not required. Preparation is." Across the border, human fleets remained in position. Dreadnoughts hidden behind moons. Stealth cruisers drifting between asteroid fields. Defense arrays powered but silent. The silent net never shut down. Peace did not mean weakness. It meant awareness. In the alien capital, the Council waited for a response. Hours passed. Then a transmission opened across every government channel. The human director appeared once more. Peace is accepted. Human space will remain protected. Any future violation will be treated as permanent hostility. There was no threat in his voice. Only certainty. The message ended. And just like that, the war that never truly began was over. But something had changed in the galaxy. News spread to distant systems, to neutral civilizations, to minor empires who had once feared the alien power. They now spoke about humanity, not as newcomers, not as divided primitives, but as guardians of their territory, a species that fought with patience, that disabled instead of destroyed, that captured instead of exterminated, and that showed power only when forced. Inside the alien empire, military doctrine was rewritten. Training simulations changed. Border policies adjusted. Human space was marked clearly on every star map, not as unknown, but as forbidden. Meanwhile, deep inside a hidden human facility, the captured data from both alien fleets was analyzed. Ship designs, communication codes, tactical habits. Humans did not waste lessons. They stored them, improved upon them, prepared for the next possibility. Because history had taught them one rule: someone always tests the border again. Years passed. Trade routes reopened. Diplomatic talks began. Joint scientific projects were proposed. But the very edge of human territory, far from busy systems, a silent formation of warships always remained, unmoving, watching the dark. One young human officer once asked the director, "Why maintain such heavy defenses in peacetime?" The director looked toward the endless stars. Because peace exists only when strength is visible. Far beyond the border, an alien patrol ship approached the line cautiously. Not crossing, just observing. Their sensors scanned human space. They saw nothing. No fleets. No stations. No movement. It looked empty. The young alien captain felt uneasy. Because now the entire galaxy knew. When human space looks empty, that is when it is most protected. As the patrol turned away, hidden sensors tracked its retreat. Stealth ships shifted slightly in shadow. Gravity anchors recalibrated quietly. The silent net pulsed once. Still active, still ready. And somewhere deep inside the human command archives, a final note was recorded about the conflict. They entered human territory and discovered why no one ever returned. Not because humans were cruel, but because humans were prepared. The galaxy learned its lesson. Human space is not empty. It is defended by memory, by discipline, by a species that survived everything thrown at it. And if one day another empire forgets, the border will remain silent until the moment it decides to close again.